Roar. Growl. Snarl. Bellow.
Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast that, like a beached basilosaurus, is a big flop.
Oh, God.
My name is Matthew Dahl, and each week I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week I'm joined by someone who's a big smash instead of a big flop. It's Stephen Curro. How are you?
I'm good. I hope I'm not a flop.
I mean, look, we're all a big flop. We're all just flopping around. Just like
Certainly feels like that after January 20th.
I did have a good joke in one of my episodes I recorded with my friend a couple days ago. If this makes you want to take us back to millions of years ago, that being the beginning of this January.
Feels like it.
I know, oh my God. But by the time this episode comes out, it's probably like May or something, and America might not be in one piece anymore.
Hopefully things have gotten better by the time this actually airs.
Or at least stayed the same level of bad and not gotten to a worse level of bad. I'll take that. We're going to win this by surviving it, damn it. Joy is resistance. Survival is resistance. Persistence is resistance. That's what I should say.
I like that.
Persistence is resistance. So if you feel like you can't do enough, just keep on going, listeners. Keep on going like a running lizard. And speaking of which, we're talking about Dromaeosaurus, the running lizard. That's what is what it means. I actually think my segues today have been quite good. They're not as forced.
You've been straight to it this time.
I know. Well, I might sometimes do a dinosaur-like question. I've kind of stopped doing that because I think sometimes, a lot of times, it's because when we're so busy, we're like, we don't have time. I got to get straight to it. So
we'll go off on that tangent.
Yeah, and it's like prime for sometimes I occasionally do them. Like some of the crazy ones I asked back in the early parts of the show, like if you could have sex with the dinosaurs. I remember asking one of my co-hosts, well, no, sorry, that one too. I asked them like if there's a dinosaur that can make you finish, which one? And they're like, what? And I'm like, I had several situations, and not necessarily related to the dinosaur itself.
I see.
Anyways, I'm going to bring this up real quick. One of the situations he came up with was, okay, let's say a T-Rex is in your neighborhood. It's stomping house upon house, and it's eventually going to get to yours. And you're like, well, we're going to die, getting eaten by this, stomped by this T-Rex, so might as well have sex one last time. Could that T-Rex then be said to have made you?
I really wouldn't be in the mood if a T-Rex was
But what if you knew you were going to die? There was nothing you could do.
No. My body just would not cooperate.
Anyways, Dromaeosaurus.
Moving on.
means runner lizard type is the dromaeosaur theropod. It's the namesake of the dromaeosaurs, the raptors. Finally, after nearly 300 episodes of this show, we're finally talking about the original genus where this whole family gets its name from. God, it feels like we're meeting a celebrity.
Yeah.
It's like, you're the one who all this is named after. What do you have to say about it? Like, I don't know, man.
You think that he would get a little more publicity as a result?
I know, but like, I don't know. Deinonychus got all the publicity for like being the revolution of dinosaurs. The Velociraptor got all the publicity of being in Jurassic Park. So poor Dromaeosaurus gets left in the dust. But there is some unique things about it that I will get to here. Size 6 to 7 feet, so that's 1.8 to 2.2 meters long, 35 to 44 pounds, 60 to 20 kilograms. It was a carnivore, lived in the Late Cretaceous, 80 to 69 million years ago. Nice. Location, Alberta, Canada. Like so many damn dinosaurs. I've made this joke before, but you know that old Norse tale where the frost giant Ymir was slayed by the gods and its corpse made the world? I think a bunch of dinosaurs died and their collective corpses made Alberta, Canada.
There you go.
Because same with Argentina too. There's so many damn fossils there.
They're fossil wonderlands.
They really are.
Lucky.
You trip on your feet in Alberta or Argentina, it's probably a dinosaur bone.
Or China.
Or China. It all depends on the part of China. I mean, it's like, well, no, all throughout China there seems to be a lot of, I don't know. And anyways, described 1922 pop culture appearances, walking with dinosaurs allegedly. Like, oh yeah, it was those ones at the end of the and they were bullying the Torosaurus herd.
Yeah.
Jurassic Fight Club, Dino Sapien, Dino Dan, and Prehistoric Planet. Almost entirely documentaries, with the exception of Dino Sapien. And of course, my Megazoic books, where a bounty hunter named Anra is this species. She's a very popular character if my readers' comments
was fun.
are an indication. And she's in all 4 books, although her appearance in the second one is more of a cameo.
Right.
She has an awesome sword fight with the main villain of the first book and has a lesbian relationship with Leptoceratops from book 3 onward. So, yeah, she's pretty good. Despite the widespread attention it receives in dinosaur books, being the eponym, as the term I found out, for a massive, popular, and large group of dinosaurs, and being mounted as a complete reconstructed skeleton in museums all around the world, Dromaeosaurus is in fact poorly known from actual fossils. The reconstructed skeletons made by the one in the Royal Sorel Museum was made only by the knowledge of other dromaeosaurs that have been described more recently. So most of those bones are not real bones.
Huh. No kidding.
To be fair, I think in museums, almost all the bones that are on display are not the real bones. They're all casts.
A lot of them are casts.
The real bones are in the back for them to study.
Right. They're not for display because they're fragile.
They're fragile, and they need to study them. You know, how can you study if you have to constantly go out there when everyone's go in on the closing hours? So they're probably made of they're casts of them out there.
That is surprising though, that Dromaeosaur, the type name for this entire group, is actually poorly understood.
I think it's because it was the first one found of them. Because 1922, that's before even, because Velociraptor I think was in the 30s or in the late 20s maybe.
I think.
Yeah, it didn't get famous until Jurassic Park, and it wasn't known as the fast, agile thing until Deinonychus in the 60s was found. So, its skull of Dromaeosaurus was quite robust. Unlike the pointier skulls of other dromaeosaurs like Velociraptor and Deinonychus, in fact, in terms of build, it's very similar to the much larger Utah raptor. And that's bulkier and rounder in shape, very thick, you see. While most theropod dinosaurs have skulls and teeth that are built for ripping, Dromaeosaurus, like T-Rex, seems to be built for crushing.
Huh.
Yeah, so some have estimated that Dromaeosaurus, despite being the same general size as Velociraptor, had a bite nearly 3 times as powerful.
Huh.
So,
every depiction that I've seen is more like a skinny creature. So
I know. No.
It's
thicker and it's bulkier, yeah. At this point, it barely even needs a sickle claw anymore. If it's biting.
Pop culture has lied to us.
Yeah, maybe it was just a grab on the prey where the skull was meant to give the crushing blow. I don't know. It's believed that due to this specialization with the skull, that Dromaeosaurus preyed on much larger animals than most other small predatory dinosaurs, including the troodontids that shared its environment with. This is notable because, unfortunately, regardless of what Jurassic Park tells you, it is now believed that raptors actually didn't hunt in packs.
Yeah, that was another depressing moment of scientific revelation.
We have found evidence that adults and juveniles had different diets across the varying age groups, indicating a solitary lifestyle. You'd think that if they lived in a social environment, they'd have the same diets because but those fossil sites that show a bunch of Deinonychus ganging up against a poor Tenontosaurus?
Yes.
We have found evidence that it was more like a bunch of Komodo dragons swarming a carcass than any cooperative behavior. And in fact, much like Komodo dragons, we have found some of those Deinonychus had smaller Deinonychus in them because some of the smaller Deinonychus tried to eat the carcass themselves before it was their turn, and they got killed and eaten by the other ones, much like Komodo dragons do.
That makes sense. So somebody killed it, and then everyone scavenged the body.
Yes. So there was no cooperative hunting.
Oh, poor Tenontosaurus.
Indeed.
It's not a dignified death.
It never gets a dignified. When's a Tenontosaurus going to die peacefully of old age, surrounded by its loved ones? In the hospice. The little heart monitors there. It's
I saw the original Tenontosaurus in Montana.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite a sight after seeing all those books where it was horrifically savage.
It has such a long tail. Such a long tail. It's so crazy. You think you use it to just scoop up a bunch of Deinonychus and just get away from me, damn it. But then again, as we've discussed in the Deinonychus episodes and in the Tenontosaurus episodes, part of the reason is that if you look at the other prey in the area at the time and place, Tenontosaurus is the easiest target. You got Sauropelta, the Nodosaurids. You got Sauroposeidon, I think, was in that era too. Tenontosaurus not touching that. And then it's just got Tenontosaurus is just the easiest one.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but it's just we need to have Tenontosaurus be notable for something else, though. This is its problem, not the Deinonychus' problem. Tenontosaurus is at least known for more than tearing apart Tenontosaurus, but because it was the dinosaur revolution, it's got that going for it. What does Tenontosaurus have going for it other than it just gets torn apart?
Murdered, right?
It's cannon fodder for Deinonychus. Anyways, Dromaeosaurus though. So that means Dromaeosaurus could have gone for maybe not as big of a prey as a duckbill dinosaur or a small semi-duckbill like Tenontosaurus, but something bigger than itself. And it did it solo, like I was saying. So unlike the pack hunting one, so that's pretty dang cool.
Oh, yeah. So it was definitely quick on its feet.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's the thing. The ironic thing is because it's bulkier, the name running lizard might be a misnomer.
So I wasn't quick on its feet.
No, it might have been like a tiger or something. Kind of like again, it's like Utah raptor but small.
More like an ambush predator for some weird little
not a running lizard.
something similar to a Dromaeosaurus.
Or maybe it did have a running. I don't know, but from what I read, it didn't. But like it had a big thick head, so I feel like if you were running, that big thick head, if you tripped, it has more room for it to crash. Like, yeah. So I don't know, but no, Dromaeosaurus. After learning about, at first I just included Dromaeosaurus as Onra in my books because, like, I wanted to be somewhat smaller. I didn't want to use Velociraptor because I had another plan for that for the Empress, and then I didn't want to use Deinonychus because I thought that was a bit too big. Like, let's give Dromaeosaurus some love. And then after I learned about this with the big bulky head and the crushing skull, I'm like, this actually is more interesting than I thought. Like, Dromaeosaurus is cooler than Velociraptor, I think, now, maybe. Velociraptor has a cooler name and cooler pop culture appearances.
Dromaeosaurus is bigger. It's stronger.
Yes. And had a much stronger bite, like 3 times. Dang. Like, Velociraptor bites you, like, get away. Dromaeosaurus bites you and you're missing a wrist.
Exactly.
Like, so, it's sort of like, it's interesting how you see those animals that seem the same but have much different bites. I mean, it makes sense because of Australia, but dingoes, they look so much like modern dogs, but they're not. They're wild. They're feral from thousands of years ago. But compared to other wild dogs, their bites are so strong. Like they bite far harder than like a wolf or a coyote.
Really?
Yeah, they have crushing bites.
Huh.
I'm like, that's what Australia does to you, man. Like,
it hardens you in every way. No.
Indeed. Oh man. But yeah, Dromaeosaurus is pretty cool. I'm gonna give it like a 56 million, I think. I originally was gonna give it like a 30 million until I learned some more about it. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to make you. I don't want you can have your own opinions. I don't want to try and sway
I think
you
it's.
too much.
I mean, it's obscure. I mean, like, I have.
I also like
this. Sorry, this episode has been educational for me because, like,
wow, what the show teaching someone something?
The shape is different than I expected. Yeah. It's bigger than I expected. And also, at the same time, we still don't know a lot about it. So I'll at least give it a 55 million.
Yeah, I think also it's cool that it ends in Saurus rather than Raptor. It makes it distinctive that way. Then again, to be fair, Velociraptor was the only dromaeosaur that ended in Raptor up until Jurassic Park. Every other raptor was after Jurassic Park. Like, so yeah, Utah Raptor, Pyroraptor, what are other ones? I can't think of other ones. Dakota Raptor, Microraptor. All those were post Jurassic Park.
Right.
Because even though Velociraptor was found far earlier, it didn't get popular until Jurassic Park. And it's like, oh, this is another raptor. Let's name, something like that. So then you got the ones that aren't raptors, but have raptor, the name like Sign Raptor, Megaraptor, Gigantoraptor. Yeah. Like,
pick and choose, guys. Come on. Is it a raptor or isn't it?
It's like my meme I made. Did I show you that meme I made that took the Road del Dorado format of like on the one hand gold, on the other hand painful, agonizing failure? But I did like on the one hand gold, and it was dinosaurs ending in Saurus, mammals ending in Therium. And showed painful, agonizing failure. It said Basilosaurus and Fulgurotherium. The whale and dinosaur, respectively.
That is such a paleontological joke. I love it.
I know. I posted that on a page I was on that was like a Facebook paleontology coprolite posting, they called it, subgroup where they did a lot of memes.
I think I've seen that group, yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of memes. I left it because, one, I left Facebook, and two, they started really crapping on Jurassic World. And I'm like, come on, guys. It didn't help that Prehistoric Planet came out. The first season came out the same summer as Jurassic World Dominion. And so people compared the two a lot when I'm like, they're trying to do different things, guys.
I don't know why people are so up in arms against the Jurassic World series. I mean, no, they're not going to be Oscar winners. But since when?
I think people are too attached to the first movie.
There's that too.
Because like the first, I will admit, none of the other movies have come close to the first movie, but I don't think any of them can, because the first movie was very unique in how it, because like
it set the tone for
it set the tone. But also, here's the thing: the metatextual and the textual were so ingrained together in a way that can only happen once. What I mean is the wonder they felt seeing those dinosaurs for the very first time mirrored the wonder the viewers felt of seeing the CGI for the very first time.
Right.
So we felt the same sense of wonder as they did.
You can't get that wonder
You
again.
can't get that again.
Because we've seen it before, even if it's a new story.
Yeah, seen it before. Yeah, like it's impossible to replicate. So I actually like that the Jurassic World movies don't even try. They do something new.
They do something different. Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Like I know some people really hate Dominion, but I'm like, it was a big swing. For a lot of people, it was a big miss, but for me, it was a big hit. Like I like that it was a big swing.
They took a shot.
Yep.
They tried something different.
That's why I like Quantumania, the third Ant-Man movie. A lot of people really hate that one, but
in my opinion, it's okay.
I loved it.
It was fun. I don't think it's a terrible movie.
I don't know what it did.
It was exciting. It was flashy.
I really liked that movie. I don't know what, but like when I saw that movie, I called my friend and started gushing to him about how much I loved it. Like I had so much fun. That's the first movie I saw in the movie theater twice in 1 week in the opening weekend since the original Avengers. And then I go online, everyone hates it.
But that's the thing. Like these movies at the bottom of it, they are fun.
Yeah,
you are supposed to have fun, and there are people who seem determined for you to not have fun.
Right, and then I also think some of them. They don't have the same nuanced big discussions like the first movie had, but they do have some things to say. Like, I think Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, for instance, had a lot to say of like, you can't put it back in the box. There's so many things that's valid to. Like the big argument people have, I mean, not the big argument, but like one of the big arguments on the side of the AI debate is that you cannot put it back in the box.
It's here.
It's here. It may suck, but you can't get rid of it now. If you try to ban the technology, someone else will build it. Exactly. If you try to like suppress it, other people will expand it. Like you try, like now that we know that it's possible,
it's there.
It's there. Yeah. So it's like we have to work with it. And there's something to be said about. And that's true of a lot of technology too. Like
nuclear technology.
Exactly. Well, that's the whole point that me and Malcolm brought up with like, and I think that's actually a quote from one of the original books when he brought up in Fallen Kingdom. It's like death is like, genetic power is like death. We don't see what's like until we're on the other side, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a quote from the books, I think too. And yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I think, anyways, Dromaeosaurus. We went a bit of a tangent there, but it was somewhat related. Anyways, that's it for this week. You want to get a hold of the show and contact me at palebytespodcast@gmail.com, at palebytespod on Twitter, and palebytespodcast on, not Palebytespod on Blue Sky, and palebytespodcast. No, it's Palebytes Podcast on Blue Sky.
Not Twitter,
and not pod. It's just Palebytes Podcast on Blue Sky and Palebytes Podcast on Instagram. Now, where can they find you, Stephen?
You can find me at stephencurro.com. That's stephencurro.com. You can find links to my poems and short stories and other shenanigans.
Absolutely. Good stuff. I have a book series on Amazon, Megazoic, like I said, available for print and Kindle. And yes, there's a very prominent Dromaeosaurus character in it. And I feel like now that I'm trying my best to start making this a movie, or like it's a long process. But like now that I know this one is thicker than the rest, and now it's a girl, I'm like, oh no, the fan art for this character.
Oh boy!
But should I make her a little bit thicker, but like not in a way that's too furry? Like I don't know. Something like you can anthropomorphize them a little bit.
You can tweak it as it goes.
Yeah. I don't want to be too attracted to these dinosaurs, but that's not going to stop some people. That Robin Hood fox has wrecked so many people.
Oh God!
It's like when people say like, "Oh, Spirit, the horse, is not a hear me out." That is a very conventionally attractive horse.
Who is attracted to that horse?
So many people.
It's a horse.
It's not even anthropomorphized horse.
Whatever.
My favorite hear me out is like the number 3 or something like that.
The internet is a strange thing. I blame the internet. This is the internet's fault.
But just like genetic power and AI, you can't put it back in the box.
Nope.
That's it for this week's. And as we say at the end of everything, you can't put it back in the box. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. If you want to further support the show, you should subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/MatthewDonald, where you can get ad-free episodes, and you can get the raw, unedited episodes, and every month you get bonus episodes where we talk about pop culture featuring prehistoric animals. We've talked about Jurassic Park, we've talked about the obscure strategy game Dino Island, we've talked about Friends, we've talked about Google Chrome. We've talked about Dinoverse. We've talked about Terra Nova. Who knows what we'll talk about? It's a mystery every time. So go and check it out at patreon.com/Matthew Donald. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good day. Chomp.